हेलो गाइस, वेलकम यू ऑल टू एआई की पाठशाला। एआई की पाठशाला आपकी अपनी पाठशाला है। एंड वॉट एवर सेशन आई एम कंडक्टिंग here, it's absolutely free of cost. And those of you who wants to join my live session, you can go to the description section of the video and join my Telegram group from the link attached there. We were doing the object oriented programming, and we have already I have conducted 8 sessions in object oriented programming. Yesterday we have discussed static method in Python in object-oriented programming. And today we are going to discuss the class method. So first I will discuss the class method. Then, and one warning for you. Please don't, when I will discuss the class method, don't ask me what is the difference between static method and the class method, because it's a confusing thing. So what I will do, first I will discuss the class method. Then I will discuss the difference between the static method and the class method. Then you will be able to clearly understand the exact difference between the class method and the static method. So this is all. So let me share you my screen first. So let's share the screen. I suppose my screen is visible to you guys. Fine. So let me open the VS Code. First, let's create a repository. So let me create one repository today. GitHub. Create one repository. I'm going to create one repository of today's name. What is the advanced Python 009. Fine. This is the repository. You people should also create this repository. And why I'm creating every time, so that you get used to these things and you will never find issue. When we used to do certain thing again and again, then we become used to those things and then we do not forget it. Fine. After that, let me open the VS Code. Let's open the VS Code, and thereafter let's open a new window, and in the new window let's clone this repository. Fine. Selecting this as get desktop, this AI Ki Pathshala, and this Python file. Open. I trust the author. Fine. So I am able to create the new repository. Now, so I think today I should use the let's create one file. I'm going to create one ipynb file today, or let's give it the name of the file as class or let's give it a name as a practice1 dot ipynb. Fine. So my file has been created, my ipynb file has been created. Fine. Select kernel, select Python environment, and this is all, and we are done. Fine. So now let's understand. So I'm not going to discuss theoretically what is this class method. First of all, I'm going to write one program for you, and after that I'm going to explain you what is class method with the help of that program. Fine. So you should also keep typing along with me and keep writing the program along with me. So let's write the program. I am writing one program class. This is I'm creating one class, and the name of my class is, let's say I am writing the class name as my class 1. Let's say this is the name of my class, and inside that class I am writing one variable or one attribute, that is a class attribute called class variable. Let's say give it a name class variable and give some value inside it. So I am writing here I am a class variable. See, class my class 1, this is the name of my class, and this is my class attribute, because it is not, we have already discussed these things, this is not present inside any method, this is present directly inside this class, and it is independent of any method. That's why it is a class attribute. So class underscore variable is a class attribute, and I have assigned this value. I am a class variable to this class attribute. First thing is done. Now, second thing, I am going to create one init function or init method inside this class. So let's create one init method inside this class. Def and underscore init self comma value. So this method has been created, init method has been created, and I want to write something inside this init method. So let's write, I want to print something. So let's write this print statement, and let's write one f string I am going to write, and inside that f string, okay, no, not inside this init method. I do not, sorry. I have to write self dot instance variable score variable is equal to value. Let's write, this is my init method. I am writing this thing inside the init method. Fine. Now I am writing another method, and I am giving it a name of this method at instance method, instance underscore method. This is my instance method, and inside this instance method I am writing this self. Now inside this self I am going to write two print statement. First print statement is like this, f string, and inside this f string write instance method, and write this thing, and let's write this thing and write self dot instance variable, fine, and write another print statement, and write this self dot, write this f string. Inside that f string I want to write this thing, assessing instance, not instance, assessing class variable, class variable, find assessing class variable from instance method. Class variable. So this Fine. So this print statement is also done. Now I have defined one instance method, one method here. Now let's define one more method here, and let's give it a name, def class method. Class method. These are the name of methods that I want to define inside my class. Fine. And let's print here, print class method self dot class variable. So fine. So when I am writing this method, I want to write, in the previous session we have discussed the static method, and when we were creating the static method, we were writing like this, @ static method, and this is also called decorator. So when we are creating a class method, we write @ class method, and thereafter inside this, instead of the self or any value, I will pass CLS. Why we were passing? I am going to explain you this thing. Let's understand this thing. And here, instead of this self, I am going to write CLS here. CLS. Fine. Now, let's understand how this entire code is working. Why I have written all those things. What is the purpose of writing? First of all, see, this is a class method. Let's forget these things, these two methods. Just focus here. This is called class method. To write class method, first thing that you have to do, you have to write one decorator, and you have to write this decorator like @ class method. After that, you have to write whatever method you want to write inside it. And inside this method, you have to pass CLS as an argument. CLS is a standard approach method which we have to follow. That's why we are writing CLS, and you can write any other thing also, but this is a commonly accepted thing to write CLS. Just like self, here we are writing CLS. Why we are writing? See, this class method is a bond to the class. This class method are bond to this class. They are not the instance of the class. This class method is not bound to any instance or any object of this class. This class method is bound to this class only. They are not bound to any object of this class. Fine. And when this class method take class as the first parameter, this CLS is basically reference to this class. This CLS here refers to the class, refers to my class, and this class method take this class as its first parameter or as its first argument. And conventionally, let me open this my pen to explain you this. Fine. See, this CLS is basically a reference to this class. That means we are passing this class as an argument to this class method. Inside this class method, this method that I am writing or function, I am passing this class as my argument, or you can say parameter. And this is why I am writing CLS, because this is a convention. You can write any other thing also, you will get the same thing. but because everywhere we follow the convention, so we will be writing CLS here. Fine. And this class method can be called on both the class and its instances. And this class method can access and modify class level attributes. What it means? This class method can access and modify class level attributes. What is this class level attributes? See, in my this class level, this is a class level attribute. So this class method can access this and it can also access and it can also modify class level attributes. So this is the simple theory behind this, and I understand you would not have understood this very well, because until unless we can see it practically, we will not understand these things. So let's understand this practically, how this entire thing is working. Fine. So let me create, first let's run this. Fine. Okay. Now let's create the object of this class. So to create the object of this class, how can you create the object of this class? Can you tell me? How can you create the object of the of this class? Creating instance or object of the class Tell me, Ruchi, how can you create the object of this my class 1? Tell me. Okay.
S1 S2 is equals to
Okay.
my class
Let's
1.
write obj is my, instead of S1 I am writing obj object is equal to what? What I can write? Tell me.
My class 1.
Fine. My class 1. So this is how we create the object of this class. But here inside this init, I have defined something value. So I have to also pass this value which I have defined inside this init function. So let's pass any value. Let's say I am passing hello. Fine. Let's pass any value. I am passing this value hello, because I have defined inside this init function one value. So I have to pass the value to it. So I have passed this value. Now I have defined my object or instance. Now second thing that I want to do, let's see this, accessing the instance method. Accessing the instance method. So how you will access the instance method? This is a method. This is a method defined inside this class. These are the methods. This is one method, this is one method, this is one method, but this is a class method, and whatever other methods are there, they will be an instance method. This is a init method, and instead of this class, init or static method, whatever method will be there, that will be an instance method. I have written the same name here, instance method, for your understanding. Fine. So if I want to access this method, what shall I do? Tell me. Tell me, Ruchi. I have created the object of the class. I have created the object of this class. Now I want to access this method. So what shall I do? I can access this
Print
method with the help of the object obj, then dot, and then I will write the name of the method,
dot.
instance method.
Yeah.
So by just typing this, I am able to access this method. So whatever I have written inside this method can be accessed by this. Is this thing clear to you?
Yes.
Fine. Now, very important thing that you need to understand here. Now I want to access the class method. Accessing class method. Class method. So, what is my class method here? Tell me, Ruchi. Which is my class method? This is my class method, @class method. Because
Yes.
clearly written, this is my
Hmm.
class method. I want to access this method. So I will access this method not by the object, with the help of object,
Without object.
without object. So what I will do, I will write the name of my class. This is the name of my class. Dot
What?
Dot class
Method.
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 What is the name of my method? Class method. I have written it. The name is itself I have written for the understanding.
Class underscore method.
Fine. So
Hmm.
this is how I am able to access the class method. Now let's do one thing. I have already run this code. Now I am going to run this code and see what happens. Now run this code. So that means my object has been created. Now I am running this code. So what I am getting here, instant object dot instance method. See, object dot instance method. Let's oh. See here, instance method. In the instance method, what I have written inside this method, instance method, and after that, so this method is coming as it is in the print statement, and after that, what I have written, self dot instance variable. Self dot instance variable. And what is my instance variable? I have already supplied it at the time of object creation. I have supplied it hello. If you will supply any other thing, you will get that value printed here. So this is the value instance variable I have supplied here. So it is printing this hello here. In the second print statement, it is written accessing class variable from instance method. What it means? Even the variable that is present inside this class, this is a class variable because it is not present inside any method. It is just present after the class creation. So this is a class variable. So I am accessing self dot class variable from the instance method. What it means? And it is printing same thing here. I am a class variable accessing class variable from instance method. So this is the print statement. So it will print, and I am printing this, accessing this value. So it is accessing this value from this class variable. Fine. Now, it simply means, can you understood this, all of you? This class dot class variable, I am taking the class variable from my class variable. So, and this is a instance method, and this is a class variable. It means, and it is printing, it means you can access the class variable from the instant method also, because this is my instance method, and from inside the instance method, I am able to access the class attributes. This is a class attribute, and I'm able to access the class attribute. This is what I wanted to explain you. So remember this thing. That's why I have written this thing now. Now see. Now see. So these two things is clear to you? Now let's run this code, my class1.class method. So let's run this. What it is writing, class method, I am a class variable. Now see, inside this class method, I have written this CLS. Class method is printing CLS dot class variable. See, this is my class variable. This is so this is my class variable. And this is also a class variable. And with the help of this CLS, which I am writing here as my argument, this CLS is basically nothing but it is a reference to this class. Instead of writing this entire class here, I am writing CLS. This CLS is referring to this class. Fine. When I am writing this class method, it simply means that I'm passing this class to this method as an argument or as a parameter. So with the help of this CLS, it is able to access this class attribute. And what is the class attribute here? Class variable. So when I am doing CLS dot class variable, I am able to get this value. I am a class variable. Now you can see this thing. Same thing is I am able to print it. I am a class variable, class method. I am a class variable. You can do the same thing at your end to understand this. So what are the things that we have understood in this code with the help of this code? Let's clear these things one by one. You understand? Now this question must be arising inside in your mind. Then what is the difference between the static method and the class method? It seems that both are the same, but wait, I will be discussing that question also. Wait for some time. But can you understand how to create the class method? And can you have you understood? You have to put this CLS. Let's do one thing. Instead of this CLS, let's write some other thing. Let's write my name here, Anup. Let's write Anup. Fine. And just run it and see what happens. See what happens. I'm running this code again. I'm running this code again. And I am running this code again. See. What it is telling me? Names. Okay. Sorry. You have to write this thing here also. So I have to write A and UP here also. Fine. Now again, let's run this code again. Run this code again. Run this code again. Run this code again. So can you see still my code is running? So whether you pass CLS or you pass any name here as your any name, it will refer to this class one. But because this is a convention to write CLS, that's why we will write CLS here only. Is this thing clear to you? We will write CLS here. So this one thing is clear. Now let me do one more thing here. Let's run this code again. Let's run this code again. Let's run this code again. Fine. Now let me do one thing. Let's try to We have created this object obj, and with the help of this object, let's try to access this class method obj dot class method. Obj dot class method. This is a method. Let's try to access this and see what happens. I am a class variable. So still you can able to, you are accessing this class method with the help of the object also. Fine. So these things are clear to you. Is there any doubt till here? If there is any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, I will take next code and discuss some more thing with the help of that code. I am not getting any answer from you guys. Please tell me.
I'm not able to understand the first one code.
First, what you have not understand, tell me. Understood?
Init and instance method.
Init and instance method. What you have not understand in this, tell me.
Why we are writing this instance method in the print statement?
This thing,
This
is just for making you understand that this is instance method. You can write anything here. You can write your name here. Let's say you can write whatever you want. See, why these things that we are writing, it is just for our convenience. It is nothing mandatory. But what you are writing, this thing is important. Because here, self dot underscore instance variable. See, here I have written instance variable. You can write anything, whatever you want. There is no certain anything inside this. You can write whatever you want.
What is the use of this class variable?
Which class variable? There is
top.
no such use of this class variable. This is a class attribute. And I have extensively discussed this thing. So if you can revise the previous sessions, you will understand what is the class variable, what is the instance variable. I have taken, you have missed 2 sessions, I suppose. I have in a very extensive manner, I have covered what is the class variable, what is the instance variable. Let me give you a little idea of here. See, this is a class. Do you got it? Let me clear this to you, make it clear to you. So, Ruchi, you should revise the previous session also. If you will not revise, the confusion will not will remain. See, I am creating this class. Fine. Do you understand? I am creating this class. Let's suppose I am not writing this thing. Let's suppose this is not present here. Let's forget this is not present here. So what you have learned, let's suppose, and also forget this thing. Just forget this. I have not written this thing. Just forget this thing. Suppose this is my class, my class. So what is the first thing that you used to do? You create the init method. That you understand now. If you do not understand, then you have to revise the previous session. There is no other substitute for that. Fine. So this is a init method, and inside this init method, these are what is this init method? This class is basically a template of the object that we are the how in whichever way I want to see my object, I have to give that variable thing. I have to give it inside this init. I have to pass it inside this init. Let's say, so inside this init, I have passed one value called value, and I have to also create this I have to pass this, I have to write it like that, self dot instance variable is equal to value. I have written this. So there is no confusion here. Now I have defined one method. This is a method and this is the name of the method. You can write any name. I have written instance method. Don't confuse with that instance method, because these are the methods. These are called the instance method, because these methods you can able to access this method directly with the help of whatever object you are going to create. With the help of the object, you will be able to access this method. That's why it is called instance method. Whatever any method you will create here, that will be an instance method, until unless you are creating a static method or class method. So I'm not discussing that. So instead, inside this instance method, I have written two print statement. This is an instance method I have written. You can write whatever you want. And inside this, what I am writing, self dot instance variable. Self dot instance variable means whatever variable I am creating inside my init function, I am trying to access that variable from here. So I am getting the output also. So that means I am able to access that variable from here. Here I am writing accessing class variable from the instance method. What means class variable is, now see, this is the method. Now if you write anything, if you write anything which is not a part of any class, see, this is a class. Inside this class you have defined one attribute. Attribute means one, this is a instance attribute. Whatever you attribute you create inside the init function, that is a instance attribute. This is a instance attribute. Instance attribute, I have already discussed these things. Instance attribute. And inside this class I am creating one attribute, and I am not using also self here, because self is required when we will create an instance attribute. But here I am creating class attribute. So this class underscore variable is my attribute, which I am creating inside my class, and which is not present inside any method. It is independent of these methods. It is independent. It is outside these methods. So whatever attribute you create outside any method, init is also a method. This is also a method. This is also a method. But this attribute is defined outside these methods. That's why it is called class. It is called class attribute. Now, this you can access this class attribute is common to all the objects that you will create. It is present in all that class, all that it is present in every object, and it will not change. But whatever instance attribute you create, it will change according to the object value. Whatever value you will pass, it will get changed. So you have to not tell me what is. After that, I have created this class method. I have explained you. Have you understood this thing?
Yes.
So you should also revise. When I am sure if you will revise the previous session, you will get to understand. Because this is something, see, this is a new thing that you are studying for the first time. So confusion is bound to happen. But when you revise it 2-3 times, your confusion will definitely go away. So that's why I'm always focusing, please revise, please revise. Fine. So let's move to the next thing. Now, let me write one more code here to demonstrate the same thing. Okay. So let's take one more code. Okay, fine. So I'm creating one more. I'm writing one more code here, and this code is also meant to make you understand this class method only, so that you can get a better clarity of it this time. So let's write one more code here. Class. Let's write class, and I'm writing the class name this time. Class as my class 2. Let's write this class as my class 2. Inside this class, this is a class attribute. Total instances is equal to, let's write 0. So initially the total instances is equal to 0. Now I am writing the uh, init function here, def. So let's write the init function def init self, comma, let's write data here. Now self dot data is equal to data, and my class 2 dot total instances is equal to plus, let's say plus is equal to 1. So this is the init I have written. Now let's write one method, class method here, at the rate class method, thod method. And what I shall write inside this class method, def, and so this is the name of the method. So total instances, and then you have to write this CLS, and then this thing, and inside this method, so total instances, I am writing one print statement, and write print statement, print. And what is the thing that I want to print? I want to print, let's write f string here, print total instances created, total instances created. So total instance created, writing this thing, sorry, created is equal to, inside this I am writing CLS dot total instances. And so this is the print statement that I am writing inside this class method. After that, I am writing one more method here, and this method is like so instance data, instance instance underscore data. Fine. Write self here. So in self here, and write this thing. And now inside this instance data, I am writing one print statement. Let's write print, and let's write f string this thing, and then fine. So let's write this thing here. Now it is fine. Instance data self dot data. Now let's try to understand what I'm trying to do here. What are the things that I have written here? See, first thing that I have done here, let me first explain you this thing. I have written one class, my class.to. Inside that class, I have defined one attribute, which is a class attribute, total underscore instances, and I've given the value 0 here. This the value of this attribute that I have written, it's 0. Thereafter, simply I have defined one init function. And inside this init, I have supplied one value, one argue parameter, data, and I have written self.data is equal to data. So till here, everything is clear. Now let's see what I have done here. What I'm trying to do here, inside my init method, I am writing my class name, my class.to dot total instances is equal to plus, what it means, total instances is equal to total instance, total underscore instance is equal to total instance, total underscore instance plus 1. So we already know this thing. The meaning of this thing is total underscore instances. So simply what I am trying to do, from my class2 dot total instances, I am trying to access this thing, this class attribute. So I'm trying to access this class attribute inside my init, and initially the total value of the instances was 0. So whenever the instance will increase, it will keep on increasing its value by +1. This simply means, fine. We will understand it when we will run the code. Then we are going to understand it. This is a class method. We already understand this. This is simply a name of the class method. So underscore total underscore instances. We have to pass CLS because this is a class method and it is a convention to write CLS here. Now inside this print statement, total instance created, and I want to access what? I want to access the total instances. So CLS dot total instances. So this total instances, I want to access this total instances is CLS dot total instances. Here, from here, I will access this total instances by using CLS dot, because CLS is a reference to this class. Now, after, in the end, I have written one method called show instance data. So, and writing here self dot data. This self dot data will simply what it will do? It will access the data from the init method. Whatever data I will supply, it will access it. Now, let's understand this with the help of, now let's create the object and then let's understand this by running the code. So let's run this code first. I'm going to run this code. Now, I'm going to create the object of this class. So object 1 I'm creating first, and object 1 is equal to my class 2, and inside the my class 2 I have to give some data, because inside this init I have passed this data, so I have to give one data here, pass one argument. So let's pass here instance 1, instance 1, fine. Now I am creating one another object obj2, and same thing here I am writing instance 2. So this is the first thing that I am going to do. I have done. I have created two objects of this class, my class 2, and let's run this. So everything is fine here till here. Now see, Third thing, what I want to access this instance data. So instance data, this method, I want to access this method, what I have written here. Let's not access this method here. First, I'm going to access this method. So let's access this method. So how will you access this method? Ruchi, please tell me. How will you access this method? So underscore instance underscore data. With the help of this object, these objects, object 1 and object 2. Can you answer? Or can you tell anything?
We should not use any object
What?
because we we, we should not use this object because this is class method. This is under class method, so
No, no,
we should not use any object.
no, no, no. So you are very much confused. Fine, not an issue. This happens. See, this is a simple thing. This is a class method, but this is not a class method. So instance data is a normal method. This is not a class method. So I can access this with the directly. I can access this with the help of the object. So just access this object 1 dot. You have to write the name of the method. So instance data is my method. So instance data is my method. And I want to access it. So let's access this. Fine. Similarly, object 2 is my second object, and let's access this, and let's run this here and see what happens. See, so instance inside this method, what I have written, instance data, I am getting instance data. In the first object, I am supplying this instance 1, so I am getting this instance 1 self dot data, and inside the second object, I am supplying this instance 2. So this is a second thing. See, Ruchi, let me tell you one more thing here. This is for your understanding. See, this is a class I have told you, and this is a object of this class I have created. And when I am accessing this method, in the first object, I am giving some other data, let's say instance 1, and in the value of this data, I have to give inside my object 1, I am giving a different value in the first object and a different value in the second object. Both the value is not same. So at every object, you will see this data, this value will keep on changing, or whatever value you will give, it will change. But this, the attribute total instances will not get changed. It will remain same for this object also, this object also. Fine. If you will try to access this total instances from here, that I will do, you will get that for every instance, for every object, this value will remain same, because this is a class attribute. Fine. Now, so till here everything is fine. Let's now move to the next thing. How we have created an object, we have accessed the instance specific data, and now I want to access the class method to show the total number of instances. So now access the class method. How can you access this class method? Tell me, Ruchi, how can you access this class method? We have already discussed this in the previous code questions. So how you will access this class method? Do you remember? Fine. So see, can you guys tell me anything that you are present or not? Anything, hello, hi, anything like that? So it's becoming little monotonous, I see. अरे भाई इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है? कुछ तो बोलो। सब लोग सो गए क्या? ओके, सो let's access the this let's access this method, class method, from here. How will you access the class method? By using my class 2 and dot show total instances. Fine. So total instances. So when you will do this, you will be able to access this thing. Total instances created is equal to 1, 2. So why you are getting this total instances is equal to 2? Can you please tell me? Okay. So from here, from the my class 2 dot total underscore instances, I am able to access my total instances created. So it is giving me 2 instances because one is the because we have created the 2 instances. That's why I am able to get this total instances is equal to 2. So this is how I am able to access this is the class method, and static method we have already learned inside in the previous session. Now let's try to understand very important thing, the difference between the static method and the class method. So what is the main difference between the static method and the class method, and why we use static method and the instance method? So I'm going to write a code for you in which I'm going to use both the static method and the instance method, and with the help of that code I'm going to explain you the difference between the class method and the instance method. So can you guys confirm you are listening to me or not? Please confirm so that I can move ahead. Are you there, Mr. Misra sir, Ruchi ma'am, Pratyush?
Yes, yes, listening.
ओके, मेरा आवाज तो जा रहा है ना सब क्लियरली?
हाँ हाँ
ठीक है, तो अभी हम लोग एक क्वेश्चन करेंगे जिसमें हम दोनों यूज करेंगे, स्टैटिक मेथड भी यूज करेंगे, क्लास मेथड भी यूज करेंगे, एंड डिफरेंस समझेंगे कि स्टैटिक मेथड एंड क्लास मेथड में डिफरेंस क्या है। देन मैं आपको बता पाऊंगा कि क्लास मेथड में, क्योंकि हमने लास्ट क्लास में किया था, आपने थोड़ा बहुत भूल गएंगे, तो एक एक हम लोग क्वेश्चन से इसको कर लेंगे और फिर हम उसी क्वेश्चन में ये समझ लेंगे कि इंस्टेंस मेथड और क्लास मेथड में क्या डिफरेंस है। सो एक और मैं कोड यहाँ लिखता हूँ आपके लिए। लेट मी राइट वन मोर कोड हेयर, and with the help of that code we will understand. This is also a very simple code. So let's write class and math utils. Utils is the name of my class. And now I am writing a class variable, or you can say class attribute. So total, and I am giving it the name total operations. Total operations is equal to, let's say, first 0. Now I'm creating one init function, init method, and write value here, value, and write this. Now what I have to write, self dot value is equal to value. Now let's write one static method first this time. So I'm writing a static method. To write this static method, what is the first thing that I will write? I will write at the rate static method. We have learned it yesterday. After writing this, let's write very simple function, def add, and let's give some value x comma y, let's say. So this is how I have written one static method. Now this is a static method for addition, and inside this static method, let's write one more thing, math utils, this class dot total operations is equal to -1. That implement the operation value every time, increase the operation value every time whenever it's, then I am writing return x plus y, x plus y. Fine. So this is the static method I have written. Now I am writing class method. So for writing the class method, I have to give the name class method. Now delete class method. Why this is not working? What happened? Okay. So now let's write at the rate class method here, and write the class method here, def. I'm writing the class method as def increment underscore total operations, and inside that write CLS. Now what I have to write, I have to increment the total operations. What I have to do, this thing, this I have written. Now this is a class method. Now I have implemented, I'm writing one more method here. Let's write the name of this method, square, square, and let's pass self here, and let's write this thing. Inside this square, I simply want to square the value. This is a regular method to calculate the square of the value. So what I should return self dot value. I am not using this. Just simply write self dot value. This will give me a value, and after that I want to square it. So for squaring, what I need to do, this thing 2. This will give me the return value of a square of the number, whatever value I will supply. So this is the method I have, this is the code I have written. Now let's run this code. So let's run this code. So this code I have ran. Now with the help of, so I have also written a static method, I have also written a class method, and I have also written a regular instance method. So every method, whatever we have studied till now, everything I have written here. See here, this is this is a mixture of whatever thing that I have discussed till here. See here, first this class variable is there, class attribute is there. Thereafter we have studied the init method or init or the constructor. So this init is there, init method is there. Thereafter we have also we have studied static method. So I have written the static method here. We have this learned the class method. So we have used the class method here, and this is a normal method, or you can also call instance method. This is, so everything I have written here, every method I have written here, just for making in one code you are able to understand all those methods that you were learned. Now let's first execute, first create the object, and with the help of that we will be going to understand this one by one. That will be easy to understand. First I am going to create two instances of this class, or two object of this class. So first create the two object. I am writing this object name as util1, first object, and thereafter what I will write, this math util, math utils is the name of my class, and you can see this has a init method. We have to give one value, some value. So let's give it a value. Let's give it some value. Let's say I'm giving it a value 5. Now let's create one another object by the name util2, and let's do the same thing. Here also you have to give one value. I'm giving it a value 10. So, and I am running this code. Let's run this code. Math take no argument. Math utils. I am getting this error. Type error. Util1, util2, math utils. Math utils take no argument. Utils. Capital U. Utils. Take no argument. Math utils. Util1, math utils 5, 10, tick, 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 tick. No, 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 no. Okay, 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 okay. Why this? Oh, we have done a very blunder mistake here, above. That's why I have not followed the proper indentation. So let's follow the proper indentation. That's why I was getting this error. So let's follow the proper indentation. So let's follow the proper indentation. Let's follow the proper indentation. So let's follow the proper indentation. Let's write, correct it also. It needs to get corrected. It also needs to get corrected. And this also needs to get corrected. This thing also needs to get corrected. This thing also needs to get corrected. Fine. Now this code is fine. So Now let's run this. Now everything is fine. Now if I run this, I suppose I shall not, again I am getting this error. Okay, why I am getting this error this time? Class method, static method, math utils, total operation. Okay. Is equal to 0. Fine. Select dot operations. Total operations. Okay. This. Okay. Now everything is fine. So we are able to create these two objects, utils1 and utils2. After that, let's understand what is the second thing that I want to do. So first use the static method. First, I am going to use this static method to demonstrate you the uses of this static method, how I am going to access the static method. So let's do one thing. Let's print print here. And what I want to print, and let's how we access the static method, math utils dot add. This is what is written inside this static method. Add, I have written this add here, and I want to access what is inside this. So to access this, I am directly writing this, the name of my class, mathutils dot this method name, this add, and I have to supply it with two values, x comma y. So let's give it a value. Let's say give some value of x or y. So tell me, Ruchi, any two value of x and y, whatever value you want.
12,
12,
36.
30, 36. Fine. So this is the two value of x or y. From here it is coming, and I want to print. That's why I am writing this print statement before it. Fine. And now let's run this code first. Okay, so markdown is been added. Control C, Control V, and let's delete this. Fine. So let's run this. Can I get 48? So it is giving me, this thing is giving me, because what is the return value of this? It is returning me, this method is returning me x plus y. So that's why I am getting the return value 48. 36 plus 12 is 48. Fine. Now I want to access the class method. So what is my class method? This is my class method. Increment total operations. And from here, I want to see what I want. What I want from here, it is incrementing the total values of total operations. So how to access this? How shall I access this? I will access this like that. Similarly, let's first write print and let's access it. We can access this with the help of, first I will write math utils dot increment total operations. Increment total operation is the class method, and I am able to access the class method by directly from this class, directly by the class. So what is my increment total operation is my class method name. So write increment total operations. So this will give me the incremented value, total incremented value of this thing. Matthew, let's print this and see what it is giving me output. So, okay. So let's do one thing. So it is giving me this kind of thing. So let's do one thing. We can do it like this. Math utils dot total operations. So okay. Oh no, no, no. Fine, it is fine. I was missing this thing here. Total operations. Now let's print it. Print. Now let's print this. Increment operation. What I am getting? Total increment operations count is equal to 2. I should actually get it 2, but why I'm getting this increment operation is equal to 2. Okay. Okay. Let's run this again. Let me 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 run this again. Math utils dot increment total operations. Increment total operations. Okay, fine. So it will give you this thing also. So let's math utils dot total operations. Increment total. Okay, fine. So we have to write it like this. Print and math utils dot total operations. Total operation is my this value. Fine. That it will give me the print statement. Fine. Print here total 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 operations count count is equal to total operation count and comma thereafter math utils dot total operations. Fine. If I will run this code, I suppose now it is giving me the correct answer. Total operation count is equal to 3. Fine. So what is the first thing that I am doing here? Math utils dot increment total operations. See here, this is my math utils class, and I am first doing this thing, increment total operations. So what it is doing, whatever operations it has done, it will increment the value of that operations one by one, and thereafter here I want to print the total operation count. So since I have done the 3 operations here, so it is giving me the total print count is equal to 3. And because the total operation count value initially was 0, and it is trying to, I'm trying to increase the operation count every time the operation is happening here. So by this way, what I am able to, what I want to explain you, that with the help of this class method, you can access the class attributes also, and you can access the class attributes here, and you can also access this you can also make changes to the class attributes. So whatever, see, here with the help of this class method, I have made changes to my class attribute. Initially, my class attribute was total operation is equal to 0. And now, with the help of this incremental value, it has increased to 3. So this means that this is the purpose of my writing this kind of code. We can able to, with the help of this class method, we can able to change the value of my class attributes also. But the same thing is not true for the static method. Inside the static method, see here, initially first I have accessed this in static method. What is my static method? Add. So with the help of this static method, you are not able to make any changes to the class attributes. But with the help of this class method, you can able to access the class attributes also, and you can able to change the value of the class attributes also. Now let's understand one more thing here. Let's write this instance method. This method, let's access this square that I have written here, instance square method. So how you will access this? With the help of the object. You can access this with the help, because that is a, this method, ref square method is a instance method. So you cannot access it directly with the help of the class. You have to access this with the help of the object only. So I have created one object by the name util1. So let's write util1 dot square. Fine. If I will write util1 dot square, and let's print it, then and only I will get the value. Let's print it, and now let's run this. I am getting 5 with the help of second square, because in the util, when I have defined this object util, I have supplied here 5 here. That's why I am getting 5. Now same thing if you will do with print util2. Since inside this util2 object, I have given this value 10. So it is going to give me this thing, 100. So I'm able to access. Finally, since I have done these things, so total operation we have already discussed, we have already accessed the total operation count here. So let's access this again and see what happens. Total operations, let's access this, or total operations. Let's access this total operations here. So just let's print underscore total operations and see what I will get. Still I am getting 3 operations. So in the same code, now let me tell you the, in a theoretical, so we have understood this with the help of code. Now let me explain you the theory of this static method and this class method to make these things clear to you. And let me write here in the yes, I will be writing here. So these are some points which you need to remember. Static method is a method that I am writing this because so that when you will see this next time, you will have all these written things. So it will be easy for you to understand. A static method is a method that belongs, belongs, belongs to a class rather than an instance of the class. This is the first thing. Second thing is it is defined using @static method decorator. Fine. Third thing, static method. This is very important. Static. Let me first write it, then I will one by one I will explain you these things. Static methods do not have access, access to the instance, do not have access to the instance or class itself, Fine. Fourth thing, let me write it. They are independent of the class state. Fine. One very important thing that I have just now discussed with you, they cannot, static method cannot modify or access class or instance specific attributes, specific attributes directly. Versus, I am writing here versus versus now here I am writing the about the class method. A class method is a method that takes the class itself as its first argument. I have already told you this argument, usually named CLS, So this is the first point of this class attribute. Let's write the second point. It is defined using @class method decorator. Third point, let me write third point. Class method have access to the class and can modify class level attributes. See, class level have access, you will see the access to the class and can modify class level attributes. Fine. Class methods can also be called on the class itself or on an instance of the class. So this is the main difference between the class method and the instance method. So I suppose I should write these things inside a markdown. Control C. Let me write it inside a markdown. Let's see. This is fine. So let's delete this. Let's run this. Fine. So these are the main things, the main difference between the class and the instance method. So static method is a method that belongs to a class rather than the instance. Have you understood this? So one important thing that I want to explain you, that in this static method, let's see if you can see here, this is a static method. With the help of this static method, you cannot modify the class attributes, or what it is written, static method do not have access to the class, do not have static method do not have access to the instance of the class, to the instance or class itself, to the instance or class itself. That means this static method do not able to access the instance. Let's say this is an instance of this class. So this static method is not able to access, either it is not able to access this instance, or it is not also able to access this class. So this static method is not able to access the instance or do not able to access the class. But this class method is able to access the instance of the class. This class method has access to the class and can modify class level attributes, and it is able to modify the class level attributes. So this is the main difference between the static method and this method. So I hope this is clear to you guys, and it is a heavy loaded thing, I suppose. Let me save this thing first. Let me save this thing, Control S, and then let
Will
me.
you please show me the last one
Okay.
once
Let
I'm
me
able to type?
let me commit it first, then I will show you. Not an issue. So today we have completed class method. PHOD. Let's commit it. Yes. Sync changes. Okay. Fine. So let's this thing. So see, one thing I want to tell you, these are certain things that is a little bit difficult to understand at the first instance. So when you will revise it, for when you will go through it for the second time, definitely you will understand it. And if you ever face any issues, you can always, I am here to clarify your doubts. But first thing is that you have to revise it. Before you revise, you will not understand these things. So it is my earnest request to all of you to do revision and keep asking questions and keep coming to the classes. And I hope so. Today is the end of the class, I suppose. I am now stopping the sharing of my screen, and this is all for the day. And
I'm not able to type that.
okay, not an issue. Fine. So thanks, guy. Thanks for joining us, and you should take care, keep learning, keep smiling, and keep asking questions in the comment section of the video. That's all. Bye bye. Take care.